y'all, what's up? I am back again. A lot of shit's gone down, so I have some suggestions. Before we get into this video, I just wanted to say I am including links in the description on how you can help out with the Black Lives Matter movement. I know the momentum, at least in major media, is dying down quite a bit, but things are happening. Progress is being made. Now is not the time to give up momentum. That is how things stop happening. So I will include links in the description of some petitions, of a channel of YouTube videos that you can watch if you are not in a financial place to donate a lot of money. There is a playlist of YouTube videos where all of the proceeds are being donated, so that helps with that. But yeah, those will be in the description. I encourage you to click. Yeah, be helpful. But yeah, anyway, we are gonna get into this. So, as we have all known for a while, JK Rowling is not a good person. This is not news. This is not new. She's been pulling shit like this for literal years. We all knew she was a TERF like a hot second ago. This isn't new. If you have not seen all the drama, JK Rowling has made comments saying basically that trans women are not women and a bunch of other really awful things. So we're done. We're done. I personally have not been able to enjoy Harry Potter in a very long time because of things like this, because J.K. Rowling's been pulling questionable things literally for years. So I have not reread the books. They aren't even a book series that I have with me anymore. They're at my parents' house, but I have not read them. I have not picked them up. I have not encouraged my siblings to read them. I have personally cut ties pretty much with the Harry Potter series, at least for the most part, for quite a while. But I am sort of doubling down on that I had planned on doing the Slytherin book tag, because I was like, oh, that's fun, and I wanted to answer questions. But now I feel like it's not the time, and I may never do it. But yeah, obviously no harm in anyone else still enjoying the series. It's something we all grew up with. There's no harm in it. But I personally, as someone who is trans, it's icky feeling. It's icky feeling, and I'm just, if I tried to reread the series or read any of it, I would just be like paranoid, like looking for that, you know? So not something I'm going to engage with anymore. No harm in you doing it, but that being said, I have some suggestions of things to read instead of Harry Potter. Most of these are book series that I read at the same time that I was super into Harry Potter, that I was equally interested in. And then there is one that my girlfriend really enjoys, and then a few that my youngest brother, who is 13, has recommended to me and really enjoys, that are middle grade stories, that I figured I would go ahead and include, just because it is a more modern take, and I am not super up to date on what the the youths are reading, but he is. So I figured I would include a couple of his recommendations, but these are mostly my childhood favorites. I would like to say I have not obviously kept up keeping an eye on most of these authors, as most of them have never been really in the spotlight. These series didn't necessarily get insanely big. They could be horrible people too. I don't know. There's really no way of knowing, but yeah, and I haven't reread a lot of these series in years, with like one exception. So there may be some iffy things in there that I don't remember because I was a child when I read it. These are purely a list of things that I enjoyed at the same time as Harry Potter that I would like to recommend, that bear at least some similarities. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. The first series is, of course, the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan. If you've probably heard of these. They are a very popular series following Percy, who is a demigod. He is half god and half human, as he goes on various adventures from the time he's about 12 to about 17, I think he is, when the book series ends. It's an amazing series based on Greek mythology. I know it was a lot of people's introduction into Greek mythology. I'm not going to talk about it too much. There is a Disney Plus adaptation that is coming out at some point. Rick Riordan is writing the script for it, because there was a movie adaptation that he has publicly said that it was horrible, and he did not support it, and he literally begged for it to not be that. But he is having the chance to redo it and is redoing a TV series, so now is the time to read it because everyone is going to be so hyped for it. But yeah, 10 out of 10, would recommend. The next series that I want to recommend is the Sisters Grimm by Michael Buckley. This is following Sabrina and Daphne, who are two young girls who, after their parents die, are suddenly adopted by a grandmother that they did not know they have. And they move to a town and find out that they are the long distant relatives of the Brothers Grimm. And this town contains all of the fairy tale creatures that the Brothers Grimm wrote about. And they have quite a bit of resentment towards the Grimm sisters, because basically they're trapped there because of some things the Brothers Grimm did. And it follows them on this adventure, and you get Puck, weirdly, even though he's not a Brothers Grimm character, but you get Puck, like from Shakespeare. I don't know why. But yeah, it's an amazing series. Their grandmother is amazing. The banter between Sabrina and Puck is great. Not like flirty banter for the most part. Like, they're just, they don't like each other and they fight. It's fun. I would recommend it. There are 9 books in the series. I will say I did lose momentum as a kid towards reading the end of it, but it might have also just been that I was reading them as they came out and I kept getting older and the series didn't keep targeting up, and I was getting to the point where I was reading like Twilight and stuff and they just weren't the same vibe. But yes, loved that series as a kid. I have it at my parents' house. I may do a reread of it. I don't know. It's there and the opportunity's there and I love it. There's time travel in one book for just a second, but I love it, and I used to reread that section because I love time travel and I love the possibility of the future and I love the implications of what was happening. I love the Sisters Grimm. It's such a good series. Highly recommend to anyone. The next series is by a very popular author, but it is very much not her most popular series. It is the Gregor the Overlander series by Suzanne Collins. That's right, Suzanne Collins of Hunger Games fame wrote a children's series before the Hunger Games. And I did not realize that it was the same author until after I had already read all of the Hunger Games. A few years after that, I realized, and I was like, oh my god, that's the same person. But Gregor the Overlander follows Gregor, who and his 2 little sisters. They essentially, his littlest sister gets kidnapped by a giant cockroach and taken underground, and they find an entire underground civilization with giant cockroaches and giant bats and giant rats, and they get to go on adventures. They meet the princess there. I can't for the life of me remember her name, but they meet the princess there, and Gregor, the princess, and his little sisters all go on adventures. 5 books in the series, and they do definitely get a lot more intense and dark as the series goes on, but Gregor does have a giant bat there with him, the giant rats, and there's like a weird message about how humans aren't perfect and can be monstrous that comes up in the later books that it may not even be that deep, but as a kid I was like, oh my gosh, wow, people aren't always good, and which I know is not like a groundbreaking thing, but to me as like a 12-year-old it was. But yeah, love the Gregor the Overlander series. My littlest brother has also recommended this. My parents now have a copy at the house because of him. I always just check them out from the library, but they aren't actively going to the library as much as when I was little. So yeah, he has read this as well and does highly recommend them. The next series I want to recommend is Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. I did not know how to pronounce his first name until I literally looked on Goodreads. I've been saying Eoin Colfer because it's spelled like Irish. So I've been saying it Eoin in my head for literally over 10 years. It's fine. But Artemis Fowl follows Artemis, who is a boy genius, as he discovers fairies are real, but not fairies like fantasy fairies, more fairies like sci-fi fairies. And they are completely hidden. They are extremely high tech, which is how they've kept themselves hidden from humans. And basically, Artemis Fowl wants to be a criminal, except he's like 12, but he's also a genius. So he kidnaps a fairy to try to barter. There are 8 books in the series. They follow Artemis as he gets older, as well as his bodyguard Butler, and whose name is Butler. It's bodyguard named Butler. There we go. And Holly Short, the fun, spunky captain of the fairy police force, essentially, which police, you may not want to read about police right now, but at least they're fairies sort of thing, you know. There is an adaptation of Artemis Fowl that goes live on Disney Plus, I believe today, the day I'm filming this, which is the 12th. If it is on there, I'm going to be watching it very soon and may or may not make a video about it. Yeah, I also sorry, I forgot to mention this during the Lightning Thief section. There is a Lightning Thief musical, and I'm sort of tempted to do a video about it, like me reacting to listening to the musical, but I don't know how well that'll work, sort of thing. So if you see this and want that, let me know. I figure it might be something a little bit different. Okay, so that is all of my personal suggestions. Outside of that include from my girlfriend, A Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket, also a very popular series. I did not read the series. I tried to as a kid and I just couldn't get into it for some reason, but I did love the TV show that's on Netflix. But it basically follows the Beauregard children. Their last name is Baudelaire, not Beauregard. Ignore me, I'm bad at names. Violet, Klaus, and Sunny, as their parents are killed, and they are basically trying to flee from Count Olaf, who is trying to adopt them, but also adopt them to kill them to take their wealth, sort of thing. It is a great series. It is very popular. Highly recommend. Okay, and then some series that my little brother has recommended to me that I have not personally read all of them, / one of them I read and I didn't particularly enjoy, but it might just be my taste. Anyway, let's get into it. The first series is the Land of Stories series by Chris Colfer, who is an actor from Glee. I don't know much about the series, but my little brother liked it enough that he went and bought a copy of the series, so it is recommended. The Pandava Quartet by Roshani Chakshi. I have read the first two in the series. I believe the first three are out. I read the first two. It reads a bit young for my taste. It follows Arusha, who is a little girl who finds out, it's basically the same plot of Percy Jackson, but with Indian gods. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy the series. I am going to mention the second one in a recent reads that I'm uploading soon. But the humor's a bit young for me, and there are pop culture references which I don't enjoy, and I think is going to make the book dated in a few years. The next series that has been recommended to me by my little brother is the first book is called The Storm Runner by J.C. Cervantes. I don't know much about this except every time I go to my parents' house he tells me that I should read it. It is highly recommended, and according to Goodreads there is some disability rep in there, so yeah. I am planning on getting to it soon, mostly just because he recommended it, and you know, it's nice to have something to bond over since he's like 10 years younger than me and we haven't lived in the same house for not most of his life, but for 5 years now. It's good to have something to bond over, you know? But yeah, those are my suggestions of things to read inside of Harry Potter. Let me know what you think of any of these, if you're excited about the new Lightning Thief adaptation, if you've heard anything about the Lightning Thief musical. I've only vaguely heard things, but yeah, let me know what you thought. Please click on the links in the description to help out with the Black Lives Matter movement. This is a big fight that is bigger than all of us, but it takes just a few people to help out in a major way. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.